Hey everyone, SolarPrimal here. Pokemon Fire Red with only one Mankey was just prime. Let's get into a fun one. Can I beat Pokemon White2 with only baby Pokemon? I will be going by what Bulbapedia considers baby Pokemon, so I'll be referring to this list of baby Pokemon when it comes to what we are allowed to use. But why baby Pokemon?
But why male models?
Well, after all these years of trying to catch them all, there was always one creature that evaded me. But with Lunar Primal's help, we came together and finally caught our very own starter. Well, that's a roundabout way of announcing the good news. We're having a baby. So to help celebrate this massive event, let's try a baby-only challenge. That's my mindset on it, at least. In terms of stats, they can vary. So I'll make sure to briefly go over each Pokemon's stats when and if we add them to our team. As always, do keep in mind that I am writing this script as we go through the challenge, so all this is being written before I get started. Comment down below your guesses whether I could win or not. I suspect I may have to be a bit over-leveled for this challenge depending on the stats, and aside from that, I know the level grind will be awful, and that is because how Generation 5 handles leveling. Let's go over the rules. Only baby Pokemon can be used in battle, though I can catch other Pokemon to be used for HMs. As usual, no glitches or exploits, and no items in battle with the exception of held items. Can these babies crawl their way to victory? Only one way to find out. Let's do this. Using the universal randomizer, I swap Pig with Magby. I made this choice because Magby is technically available in Pokemon Black 2, so I felt it would fit right in with Pokemon White 2. Plus, I have a bit of a connection with Magby personally since it's been my buddy Pokemon in Pokemon Go for years, even now as a Magmar. We nicknamed Magby Spitfire. These nicknames are gonna be all over the place for this run. There's really no rhyme or reason behind them, I just think they're cute, as babies are. As for Spitfire's stats, they're not too bad actually. Pretty much on par with most starter Pokemon. We have the bashful nature, so neutral. Aw, no need to be bashful, buddy. And the flame body ability. This will be helpful in battle as well as out of battle if we want to breed any baby Pokemon. But facing off against our rival for the first time, I realize our moveset isn't ideal for this battle. We eventually poison Oshawott with Smog, but then Spitfire is knocked out by a crit tackle. Oof. That's our first time fainting to the first battle like that. Luckily, you're not required to win the first battle to continue with the game. Moving on to Flockacy Ranch, I have no idea if I'm saying that right, where we catch not one, but two new team members. First is Azurill. This Pokemon has a lot of HP, and that's about all it's got going for it. We have the naive nature, speed is up and special defense is down, as well as the huge power ability. Being faster is nice, but considering Azurill's stats, it might not matter. We nickname her Teardrop, because sad. Now, finding the second baby Pokemon in this area is tough, a 5% chance tough. But we eventually find our third member, Riolu. Unfortunately, this one refuses to be captured and eventually faints to burn damage. So, much time later, we find another Riolu. This one burns itself from Spitfire's flame body ability, taking an ember as well, and then is captured with a single Pokeball. Sheesh. The game is making us earn these babies. So, in terms of stats for Riolu, it is destined to be a fast smacker. Still trying to make that thing. Overall, Spitfire has better stats, but the type coverage is welcomed. We have a calm nature. Special defense is up, and attack is down. As well as the steadfast ability. The nature isn't great, but the ability could come in handy. We nickname Riolu Puppy. We have a rival battle coming up, so I tried to level up my babies beforehand. Teardrop is such a grind that I nearly cried. But for real though, this is rough. So for now, we'll just focus on leveling up Spitfire and Puppy. So after not too much training, we take on our next rival battle. Puppy goes back and forth against Oshawott with quick attacks and tackles, but in the end, we prevail, granting Puppy a huge level up. Considering the first gym is normal type Pokemon, I think it'd be worth getting Puppy up to level 15 to learn Force Palm. In Black and White, we would learn this move at level 11, but in Black 2 and White 2, it's at level 15. They swapped Feint and Force Palm for some reason. Now at level 15, we take on Gym Leader Sharon. Sharon or Charon? And yeah, our hard work pays off as we sweep his whole team with Force Palm. Sure, we might have been able to do this at an earlier level, but come on. Why would I not use an ace for a battle? Plus, someone pointed out in the gift video that I could have done that with Pig. But oh well. First gym badge done and dusted. Arriving in Burbank City, we detour south towards Burbank Complex to encounter our next baby Pokemon, Elekid. This is a very fast Pokemon and could make a decent mix attacker. But since we got one with a lonely nature, that's attack up and defense down. So Elekid will ultimately be our physical attacker by the look of things. We nickname Elekid Plug. Get it? Because its head shaped like a... I'll just go now. So we got an interesting team makeup so far. Let's level up a bit and take on the Burbank City gym leader, Roxy. Her coughing puts Plug through its paces as we use a couple shockwaves to bring it down to red HP. Roxy heals coughing with a super potion. Plug repeats the process before getting knocked out by a crit tackle. Oof. Sorry, Plug. Spitfire then finishes off coughing with an Ember. So naturally we continue to use Ember on Whirlipede as it hits with Pursuit. Another Ember gets it to red HP, but a crit Venoshock nearly knocks out Spitfire. Luckily the next Ember hits and crits to finish off Whirlipede, ending the battle. Second gym badge done and dusted. We obtain the experience share and equip it to Teardrop to help keep it up with the rest of the team, though I may unequip it at times. We also obtain leftovers and equip it to Spitfire for now. So now it's time to bug the Castelia City gym leader, Berg. And as you would suspect, Swadloon is taken care of after a couple Embers, and we also get an upgrade as we level up with Flame Burst. Good timing. But we swap in Puppy to take on Dweeble. This was mostly to avoid the smackdown, so this takes some time, especially with Berg healing Dweeble. Puppy eventually goes down, but gets Dweeble paralyzed before fainting. And then Plug finishes off Dweeble with a Shockwave. Switching back to Spitfire to take on Berg's last Pokemon, Leavanny. Despite Leavanny being faster and getting burned, it is taken out in one shot by a crit Flame Burst, ending the battle. Third gym badge done and dusted. Colress's Pokemon are a bit of a pain to deal with, as Plug doesn't deal a lot of damage to Magnemite, as well as gain paralyzed. Plug keeps taking on Sparks from Magnemite as Low Kick chips away at it until we trigger Plug's static ability. We then switch out to Puppy, who takes a hit from Spark and the Sandstorm before knocking out Magnemite. And then Clink takes a Force Palm to the face and uses Charge instead of attacking. So the next Force Palm knocks out Clink. The babies are still kicking. While training up our team, we teach Puppy a few new tricks. Strength and Dig. Let's hope this doesn't cause us to roll over to our next major battle. Speaking of which, Gym Leader Eliza is up. That's going to take some time getting used to. We send Spitfire out first against Emolga, taking a Volt Switch before landing Confuse Ray on Flaffy. I then spam Smokescreen on Flaffy as it attempts to land Thunder Wave on us as the leftovers keep slowly healing Spitfire. A Thunder Wave eventually does hit, paralyzing Spitfire, but we're able to get another Smokescreen in. Flaffy then uses Volt Switch, allowing us to hit Emolga with Flame Burst. Emolga uses Volt Switch again to bring Flaffy back out to take another Confuse Ray. This causes Flaffy to hit itself next turn, allowing Spitfire to land a Flame Burst, nearly knocking it out. Eliza Hyper Potions Flaffy back to full, and we hit with another Flame Burst. I now realize I should have been hitting with this sooner. Luckily, the confusion still takes effect, and Flaffy is knocked out by the next Flame Burst. The good times end, however, as Spitfire switches out with Plug to face Emolga. Thunder Punch nearly knocks out Emolga in one shot, but it survives, triggering its own stack ability, and hits Plug with a crit Pursuit, also triggering our stack ability. Eliza wisely switches out Emolga for Zebstrika as Plug uses Swift. A crit Flame Charge then knocks out Plug. Puppy is sent out, takes a pursuit before going underground with Dig, causing Zebstrika's next pursuit to miss before nearly getting knocked out by Dig. This causes its Citrus Berry to activate. Both Zebstrika and Puppy go for Quick Attack, barely doing any damage. Puppy goes for Quick Attack again before Zebstrika uses Volt Switch to knock out Puppy and swap in Emolga. This leaves a paralyzed Spitfire to get knocked out by Emolga's Volt Switch. And then an underlevel Teardrop gets knocked out by Zebstrika's Volt Switch. What a chaotic battle, but it does give us hope. With that, we try again. This time sending Plug against Emolga. Thunder Punch brings Emolga down to half and forcing it to use Pursuit, denying the Volt Switch for now. Eliza switches out Emolga for Zebstrika, causing Thunder Punch to trigger its Motor Drive ability, raising Zebstrika's speed. Zebstrika uses Quick Attack, becoming paralyzed by Plug's static ability as we land a low kick. A crit Quick Attack then knocks out Plug. Puppy is then sent out to dig Zebstrika down. Spitfire uses Fire Punch on Flaffy. Thank you, off-screen level up. Getting it down to half by allowing Flaffy to land Thunder Wave. Flaffy then hits with a crit takedown. What's with all these crits? Taking recoil damage before going down to another Fire Punch. Puppy takes a Volt Switch before using Strength on Emolga. Eliza then heals Emolga back to full. Puppy hits with a crit Quick Attack itself, but becomes paralyzed. Puppy survives Volt Switch with 2 HP, but then Strength doesn't deal enough damage to knock out Emolga as it uses Quick Attack to knock out Puppy. And then the rest of our team gets knocked out by Volt Switch. Here's a quick look at our team so far. We got a decent strategy against Alice's team, and as suggested in my gift only challenge of the same game, I was suggested to use a Cherry Berry instead of leftovers, so we're doing that. I found a Pokemon Ranger that gives berries after defeating him in the Lost Lorne Forest. On our next attempt, we repeat the first part of the battle with Plug using Thunder Punch and Emolga using Pursuit. However, this time Plug is paralyzed from static. Emolga then uses Quick Attack, gain Plug to half as it uses another Thunder Punch, nearly knocking out Emolga. Eliza heals with a Hyper Potion as Plug lands the next Thunder Punch. Like before, Eliza switches in Zebstrika, causing Thunder Punch to trigger its Motor Drive ability again. Zebstrika lands a crit Pursuit to knock out Plug, but gets paralyzed in the process. Zebstrika is then one-shot by a crit Dig from Puppy. Flaffy then survives the first hit of Dig and paralyzes Puppy. We then go for Quick Attack, hoping it'll knock out Flaffy, but it isn't enough, allowing it to use Volt Switch to escape and swap in Emolga. Puppy goes for Quick Attack, already knowing it won't survive the next attack as Emolga's Volt Switch crits to knock it out. Flaffy is then knocked out by Spitfire's Fire Punch. Emolga's only option left is the Volt Switch before getting knocked out by Fire Punch, leveling up Spitfire to 30, ending the battle. We never needed Cherry Berry on that attempt, and this is why I sometimes take the advice from the comments. Anyways, that's our 4th gym badge, done and dusted. As I mentioned getting berries from a Pokemon Ranger in Lost Lorne Forest, I remembered something from my notes. We can catch a Rosalia here that we can breed into another baby Pokemon, Badoo. Wait, I'm now just realizing we can't access the breeder until the post-game. Well, there goes all those options. Next is the required triple battle on Route 5. This is where our babies get to shine. Plug one-shots Arkin with Electro Ball. Spitfire's Feint Attack does well over half of Sigillet's HP in damage as it sets up Light Screen. And Puppy's Force Palm brings Tortuga down to half HP. The rest is just cleaned up with Plug knocking out Tortuga with Electro Ball and Spitfire doing the same with Sigilyph with another Feint Attack. Arriving in Driftveil City, we pick up the Expert Belt and equip it to Plug. We look over the Red Shard move tutor to see what our team can learn. Both Puppy and Plug can learn Ice Punch. I had this in mind for Puppy to help with type coverage, But this might be more beneficial to Plug, as we can save up for a more suitable move for Puppy at a later date. My big three can all learn Dual Chop. This would be interesting, but I'll pass for now. So in the end, we taught Plug Ice Punch, replacing Swift. Now, it's time to take on Gym Leader Clay. Teardrop makes a return to battle Krokorok. That's literally what I looked up on how to pronounce this one, so yeah, deal with it. And she survives Crunch. Also, her Bubble Beam does okay. But like the poster child of baby Pokemon, Teardrop is then knocked out by another Crunch. She did her best. But not to worry, Puppy finishes the job with Force Palm. Now I was confident going into Sand Slash with Plug's Ice Punch, but it doesn't hit as hard as I was hoping, and Plug is then knocked out in one shot by Bulldoze. Puppy uses Dig to dodge the first Bulldoze, gets a bit of damage in with Dig before taking a heavy hit with Bulldoze, lowering her speed. And then Sand Slash uses Crush Claw to finish off Puppy. Aw, Puppy. So it's Spitfire to the rescue with Fire Punch. Nope, never mind. Sand Slash survives and one-shot Spitfire with Bulldoze. Okay, our baby just got grounded. Well, it's clear we need to go back to the drawing board. So, on our next attempt. Krokorok is nearly knocked out by Puppy's Force Palm, but lives the hit with Bulldoze, lowering our speed. Krokorok uses Torment, but then goes down to the next Force Palm. Spitfire uses Lava Plume, bringing Sand Slash down to half, burning it in the process, causing its Bulldoze to deal less damage, but still lowering Spitfire's speed. But with another Lava Plume, we knock out Sand Slash. Foolishly, I kept Spitfire in, forgetting our previous stat drop. So as you would suspect, Spitfire is knocked out. Plug lands Low Kick, but it isn't enough as Escadrill one-shots Plug with Bulldoze. Puppy is then knocked out with Metal Claw before we even attack. And Teardrop, well, didn't stand a chance. We did very good on that run, so let's give it another go with a little top up in levels. On the next attempt, things go about the same except for Spitfire getting knocked out on the first round against Sand Slash. What a difference Burn makes. Teardrop takes Fury Cutter before knocking out Sand Slash with a turn. Puppy takes a slash before landing Force Palm on Escadrill, triggering its Citrus Berry, but then goes down to Metal Claw once more. Escadrill's attack goes up, so I'm a little worried. However, by some miracle, we crit on Low Kick, knocking out Escadrill, ending the battle. 5th gym badge done and dusted. With the PWT open to us, we have access to a few things. We can check out our team's hidden powers. Plug has Ground, Spitfire has Poison, Teardrop has Psychic, and Puppy has Water. So I may leave that be for now, but I will keep it in mind. So as Plug pummels the competition and Team Plasma, why not consider following me on Twitter, where I post updates and odd funny tweets here and there. Soaring ahead to the next challenge, Gym Leader Skyla. My two aces for this battle will be Spitfire and Plug. Swoobat does massive damage with acrobatics on Spitfire, but Swoobat is burned by this as well, getting knocked out by a crit feint attack. On top of that, Spitfire levels up to 37. So I guess the burn status didn't matter. Huh. Swanna uses Bubble Beam, getting Plug down to half, but then is one-shot by Thunder Punch. Skarmory is hit by Thunder Punch, becoming paralyzed in the process, but then it sets up Agility. The next Thunder Punch nearly knocks out Skarmory, but it survives and uses another Agility. And as usual, Skyla heals with a Hyper Potion, so I decide to try Electro Ball to see how much more damage it would do. Oh yeah, that's a lot of damage. I could have ended this battle way sooner. Oh well, that's Skyla's last Pokemon down, ending the battle. 6th gym badge done and dusted. So the next leg of the journey is a long one. We go to Mistralton City to Letina's Town, through Reversal Mountain and arriving at Undella Town, where we will actually be encountering a new baby Pokemon for our team, Mantike. Mantike's stats are pretty good, with super high special defense and decent special attack. The first one we caught comes with a sassy nature, special defense is up and speed is down. Not quite what I was looking for, but we'll take it. As well as the water absorb ability, We might be able to have a bit of fun with this one, depending on the scenario. We nickname Mantike Squish. After a bit of training, we take on our rival at Undella Town. Plug carries us through on Pheasant, bringing it down a couple times, but eventually knocking it out. Spitfire takes a Seed Bomb before obliterating Simisage with Fire Blast. Samurott hits with Aqua Jet before Plug tags back with a Thunder Punch. Regardless of knowing the next Aqua Jet will get us, we stay in hoping to land another Thunder Punch. But Plug gets knocked out. Butt Plug. We send out Puppy, but I don't think I was paying attention as Force Palm barely nicks Samurott as it responds with Revenge. Still asleep at the wheel, Puppy goes for Force Palm again, and then another Revenge knocks it out. So Teardrop arrives to finish off Samurott, ending the battle. Pretty sad misplay by me, but oh well, let's move on. Next is our biggest challenge so far, Lothbu City Gym Leader, Drayden. God, that was hard to say. I don't even know if I said it right. Alright, and listen, I know it's pronounced Druid-it-gon. My brain is just gonna naturally roll off the tongue with Druidigon. Deal with it. So we go for Confuse Ray on Druidigon, hoping it'll hurt itself, but Spitfire still takes a crunch. Spitfire then hits with Fire Blast before going down. Druidigon hurts itself in confusion as Teardrop hits hard with Return. But this causes Drayden to heal up Druidigon, taking another return. Teardrop takes a crit crunch, surviving with 10 HP and hits with another return, but our opponent barely survives. We swap in Puppy just in time as Druidigon snaps out Confusion and hits with Slash. I was hoping for Crunch to be used instead, but no matter as Puppy uses Force Palm to knock out Druidigon. Flygon is hit by Ice Punch, nearly going down, but lives to strike back Plug with Earth Power, knocking him out. Flygon then hits with Rock Slide, nearly knocking out Squish, but surviving to land Air Slash to finish off Flygon, leveling up to 46. Hot Hours? That's meant to say Haxorus, but okay. Haxorus, of course, is faster and knocks out Squish with Slash. Squish Slash, he was taking a bath. And Haxorus is just too fast for the rest of our team and swiftly knocks out all of them. Alrighty then, back to some training. So on our next attempt, we start with the same strategy using Confuse Ray on Druidigon, but this time I settle with keeping it at about half HP and wait until Spitfire gets knocked out. Then sending Teardrop out to finish off Druidigon with Return. Next, I was trying something different by sending out Squish, but he gets squashed by flinching the Rock Slide and then is down by a Crunch from Flygon. Unfortunate. Puppy gets a couple hits of Force Palm in before getting taken down by 2 Earth Powers. But their sacrifices were not in vain as Plug is sent out to knock out Flygon with a crit Ice Punch. So now Plug faces against Haxorus for the first time and swiftly takes it down with another crit Ice Punch. What luck there. But man, that took an entire day. There's our 7th gym badge done and dusted. Surfing right along to our next and final gym battle against Gym Leader Marlin. Caracasa is nearly down to Plug's Thunder Punch but survives to land Crunch. Caracasa then goes down to the next Thunder Punch. And then things take a turn with Wailord tanking Thunder Punch, getting paralyzed, and knocking out Plug with Scald. Luckily Marlin only uses a Hyper Potion, so Teardrop helps drop Wailord after 2 returns. Spitfire was planned to take out Jellicent with Feint Attack, but it proved to be a lot tougher than I anticipated. Puppy tries to pick up the slack with Shadow Claw, but due to Jellicent's Cursed Body ability, Puppy's Shadow Claw is disabled. I saw this as none of Puppy's other moves usable against Jellicent, ignoring Dig, so we swap in Teardrop, who is then 2-shot down by Jellicent. Squish puts up one heck of a fight, nearly matching Jellicent shot for shot, but eventually gets outpaced by Mr. Pringles. Puppy is our last hope as Shadow Claw is no longer disabled, but we're then taken out in one shot by Scald. Well, hell. When we return, I try something a little different. Plug uses Electro Ball and nearly one-shots Caracasa down if it wasn't for the Sturdy ability, as it sets up Shell Smash. Knowing Marlin will heal Caracasa next turn, we go for Thunder Punch and then follow up with Electro Ball, knocking out Caracasa. Electro Ball keeps the fun going by dealing more damage to Wailord. Luckily, Wailord uses Bounce this time around. This delays its downfall by a turn, but Wailord is still knocked out. Jellicent still takes an Electro Ball with no issue, but Plug is able to survive Scald, following up with Thunder Punch to knock out Marlin's last Pokemon, ending the battle. Way to flex there, Plug. 8th and final gym badge done and dusted. But the tough times are just ahead. Firstly, Team Plasma's Colress. Puppy hits with a crit Force Palm on Magneton but survives thanks to its sturdy ability, also getting paralyzed. Magneton then returns a favor with Thunder Wave. Expectedly, Colress full restores Magneton before taking Force Palm again. This time no crit. Magneton uses Volt Switch into Magnezone, who takes the next Force Palm instead, as well as becoming paralyzed. This works out nicely as we knock out Magnezone with the following Force Palm. Behem uses Calm Mind as it takes solid damage from Teardrop's return, but then one-shots Teardrop down with Psychic. A vengeful Spitfire arrives to finish off Behem with Feint Attack. Metang is one-shot by Fire Blast. Klinklang uses Shift Gear before getting one-shot by Fire Blast. And then Magneton is finished off with Fire Blast, ending the battle. Spitfire was just too hot for Colress. And now it's time to battle against Team Plasma's Getsis. Cofferigus uses Protect against Puppy's Shadow Claw to miss. The next Shadow Claw does hit, but this causes Puppy's ability to change to Mummy as we are hit by Toxic. Cofferigus then plays the Toxic Stall game before eventually knocking out Puppy with Psychic. Spitfire then uses Feint Attack but misses due to Protect. The second Feint Attack hits, but Cofferigus lives with a sliver of HP and lands Shadow Ball. So naturally, Getsis gives Cofferigus full restore, bringing us back to square one. Out of frustration, I use Fire Blast, which does decent amount of damage before Spitfire is hit by Toxic. We get Toxic stalled again, but eventually get a hit in with Feint Attack to knock out Cofferigus. Teardrop tries her best against Seismitoad, but is knocked out after being hit by Muddy Water and Sludge Wave. Seismitoad then hits Squish with Sludge Wave before taking a crit Ice Beam. Squish takes another Sludge Wave before knocking out Seismitoad with yet another Ice Beam. Plug swings an Ice Punch at Electros as it misses Crunch. We tried Low Kick instead, but come out with about the same damage, as Crunch lands this time, dealing massive damage to Plug. We try for Ice Punch again, hoping for the freeze, but then get knocked out by another Crunch. Spitfire uses Feint Attack, but Electros survives and knocks us out with Thunderbolt. And then Squish is knocked out by Thunderbolt. Yeah, that wasn't great. But it wasn't completely awful. We learned a few things there. On our next attempt, we send out Spitfire to combat Cofferigus. Feint Attack does alright, and Confuse Ray proves useful. But we get outgunned by Cofferigus and Spitfire is knocked out. Puppy then cleans up with Shadow Claw. Teardrop hopes to redeem itself, but it plays out the exact same as before. Plug tries for Ice Punch again, but we see a familiar sight and take a Crunch. But this time paralyzing Electros with Static. Sadly, Getsis uses Full Restore, dashing our hopes away. We go for Ice Punch once more before getting knocked out by Crunch. But Plug gets a last laugh by triggering its Static ability. I go for a risky play here, sending out Squish, believing we might be faster now. Thankfully we are and land Ice Beam. Luckily, Electros is paralyzed this turn. So we get a second hit in to knock out Electros. But then our luck turns as Hydreigon uses Rock Slide to squish our Squash. What? Don't you mean Squish? Nah, it's Squash now. And then Puppy is one-shot by Dragon Rush. That was better. We just need to level up a bit more and refine our strategy. A few tries later and we get a run where our team gets all knocked out, but then our HM Fly user, FedUps, dodges Dragon Rush and Hydreigon goes down to the burn. This ends the battle, but as per the rules of this challenge, we can't use any other Pokemon in battle aside from our baby Pokemon. This isn't a triple battle scenario where I'd be allowed to bring in Pokemon for the sake of progressing the game. This was us gaining an extra turn thanks to us having our extra Pokemon here. So I'll take the L and try again. And after a couple more attempts, we get this run in. Spitfire sets up Confuse Ray on Cofferigus to help lower the chances of Protect working. This allows us to deal significant damage, but we're still struck with Toxic. Luckily, the buildup of Toxic resets anytime Spitfire is withdrawn. and then a second Fire Blast knocks out Cofferegus. Squish takes on Seismitoad, and I had learned that Scald will do regular damage to Seismitoad regardless, due to the ground typing. Setting up Aqua Ring at the beginning also helps Squish last longer in battle. As it turns out, Seismitoad's only effective move against Squish is Sludge Wave. I checked. Despite Getsa's using Full Restore during this bout, we still prevail, outlasting Seismitoad, knocking it out after a few more Scalds. Plug is sent out at first to battle Electros, but is immediately swapped out for Puppy, predicting the upcoming crunch. Though our defense did drop from the attack, Puppy still gets a Force Palm in to paralyze Electros before getting knocked out by Acrobatics. Spitfire is then sent out to use Fire Blast, nearly knocking out Electros, but luckily it remains stuck in paralysis, as Feint Attack is used to, well, feint Electros. Teardrop is sent out against Drapion. This titan of a Pokemon, at least by Teardrop's perspective, is no match for the Polka Dot Pokemon's charm. Truthfully, I ran the risk of this strategy still failing if Drapion crits, but our underdog pushes through to knock out Drapion after 2 returns. Toxicroak is one-shot by Spitfire's Psychic. Lastly, Plug goes toe-to-toe. Does it have toes? Against Hydreigon, with Ice Punch bringing it down to under half, but is still knocked out by Dragon Rush. Squish returns and dodges Dragon Rush and uses Ice Beam, which is more than enough to knock out Hydreigon, ending the battle. Ooh boy, what a ride. I feel like this is foreshadowing for the road ahead. Hey everyone, Segway Primal here. On to our final rival battle on Victory Road. Unfezant is one shot by Thunder Punch. Puppy uses Force Palm to get Buffalant down to half before taking Head Smash, surviving with 6 HP. This causes recoil damage on Buffalant, so it gets knocked out by the next Force Palm. Plug uses Thunder Punch on Samurott before taking a blast of Surf but hanging in with 3 HP. And then knocks out Samurott with another Thunder Punch. Spitfire takes Rock Slide before one-hit KOing Simisage with Fire Blast, ending the battle. Yeah babies, let's go! To the Pokemon League, of course. As I top up everyone's levels, let's talk about our plan. For the most part, we should be able to handle all of the Elite Four given our type coverage. So the only thing I foresee being an issue is getting outdamaged by everything. Leave your final guesses if we can win or not. As we approach the end here, consider following me on Twitter for updates on what I'm up to, as well as suggestions for future videos. Or just to torment me with Volt Switch comments. Why not? Do that. Do it. Better yet, let's do this. And our first go doesn't yield great results. Against Elite Four Marshall, things seemed alright with Spitfire using Psychic on throw, but it survives the second hit and then knocks out Spitfire. Squish is able to clean things up, but it doesn't take long before he is knocked out too. And then Conkeldurr sweeps the rest of our team with ease. Big oof. So we try again facing Elite Four Chantel. But this doesn't go much better as I miscalculate Feint Attack's damage on Cofferegus, then it gets healed back up to full before knocking out Spitfire. Puppy tries to finish the job, struggles to do so, but manages to come out on top with 2 HP remaining. Yay! Plug does one-shot Drift Bloom, but gets damage from Aftermath. Through a bit of back and forth, Squish manages to knock out Golurk. But it was at this point I realized that some of my teammates were holding the wrong items. I'm not using it as an excuse, but it certainly doesn't help. And so, despite our best efforts, Chandelure completely shuts down the rest of our team. If a ghost could sweat, Chandelure would certainly have a dry forehead. So we try again, this time Elite Four Grimsley's first. Layport uses Fake Out against Puppy, triggering its Steadfast ability. Hey, look at that. Puppy one-shots Slaypard down with Force Palm. The Sharp is one-shot by Force Palm. We stay in for Crocodile, though I felt it was a mistake as it lowers our attack, causing Force Palm to do less damage. And then Puppy is knocked out by Earthquake. Squish takes a crunch before finishing off Crocodile with Surf. And for the first time I've noticed, Squish is faster and gets the first hit with Scrafty using Air Slash, flinching it in the process. So a second Air Slash knocks out Scrafty, ending the battle. Okay, there we go. That's one down, 3 to go. So we battle Elite Four Caitlyn next. Puppy does decent damage with Shadow Claw on Musharna as it uses Yawn. We try for Shadow Claw again and it crits to knock out Musharna. With Puppy asleep, we switch into Spitfire, but Faint Stack is still lacking power as Reuniclus survives a couple hits and knocks out Spitfire with 2 Psychics. Caitlyn full restores Reuniclus as Teardrop attempts to knock out her opponent with returns, and then dodges Focus Blast, allowing us to land one more return to put Reuniclus down. Sigalith is one shot by Thunder Punch. Plug goes for Thunder Punch against Gothitelle as she sets up Calm Mind. This spells trouble for us as Gothitelle proceeds to demolish the rest of our team with a boosted Psychic. Alright, so 3 out of the 4 Elite Four managed to shut us down. Gonna need to level grind a bit. Alright, so trying again, first rematching Marshall. Squish uses Air Slash on Throw, who responds with Rock Tomb, lowering our speed. No matter as Throw misses Storm Throw, and is knocked out by the next Air Slash. We get an odd exchange with Conkeldurr with nearly knocking him out with 2 Fire Blasts, and Conkeldurr misses 2 Stone Edges in a row. But Marshall heals up as we use Psychic. Seeing as it does way better damage than Fire Blast, we use Psychic again to knock out Conkeldurr. Sock is hit by Psychic and nearly knocks out Spitfire with Rock Slide, but a second Psychic knocks Sock's lights out. Mineshadow strikes with High Jump Kick, getting us to red HP, and Squish retaliates with Air Slash. Mineshadow then bounces out of frame as we're at a loss. Squish stays in to take the hit as we can't risk our other teammates for no reason. Squish's sacrifice is not in vain as Plug uses Thunder Punch to knock out Mineshadow, ending the battle. Next, we rematch the Elite Four Caitlyn. Up against Musharna, we switch in Teardrop and Spitfire anytime Yawn is used, until Musharna uses Charge Beam, also raising its attack. Teardrop almost knocks out Musharna with Return, but it lives with a sliver of HP and uses Yawn. Knowing a full restore is going to be used next, Teardrop stays in to hit with Return again. This puts Teardrop to sleep and we stay in hoping to wake up. But I forgot Musharna has Dream Eater. Not only does that knock out Teardrop, but it also heals up Musharna a little. Spitfire uses Feint Attack before getting hit by Charge Beam, raising its special attack even more. So another Feint Attack is used to knock out the Forehead Fart. Fire Blast is used on Reuniclus, dealing about half of its HP as well as burning it. Spitfire then takes a Psychic. At this point I notice the Magic Guard ability prevents actual burn damage to occur. So expecting the end for Spitfire coming, we use Confuse Ray as we're hit by Focus Blast. Puppy is sent out to use Shadow Claw, but then Reuniclus snaps out Confusion to use Psychic, knocking out Puppy in one shot. Squish then finishes off Reuniclus with Surf. Gothitelle sets up Calm Mind like before, so even a crit Surf isn't enough to knock it out. This triggers her Citrus Berry, and then Gothitelle uses Thunderbolt to knock out Squish. Plug uses Thunder Punch before taking a hit with Psychic, surviving with 29 HP. So, a final Thunder Punch knocks out Gothitelle, ending the battle. Since we're on a roll, let's rematch Elite Four Chantel. Spitfire and Cofferegus exchange Fire Blast and Shadow Ball. I go for Feint Attack again, this time coming up the victor, knocking out Cofferegus. Golurk uses Shadow Punch and Squish uses Surf but doesn't quite knock it out. Predicting the full restore, Squish uses Aqua Ring. Good thing as we take another Shadow Punch and bring Golurk back down like before with Surf. But Squish is knocked out by the following Shadow Punch. Teardrop tanks Brick Break to hit with Waterfall, knocking out Golurk. But then Chandelure knocks out Teardrop with Psychic. Spitfire uses Feint Attack to get Chandelure down to half, triggering its Citrus Berry, and it responds with Shadow Ball. But Spitfire survives with 2 HP. Spitfire gets one more Feint Attack in before getting knocked out by Fire Blast. Puppy then crits with Shadow Claw to knock out Chandelure. Drifblim is then one-shot by Thunder Punch, ending the battle. But guys, Plug is hurt. No matter, as we won. Lastly is Elite Four Grimsley. Though we technically beat him before, we didn't quite do it in one go of the Elite Four, so this plays out almost shot for shot identically as our first go at Grimsley went. Only this time, Scrafty dodges the first air slash to use Rock Tomb, lowering Squish's speed. This causes Scrafty to be faster and knock out Squish with Crunch. This is bad as it triggers Scrafty's Moxie ability, raising its attack. Then, after a series of chipping away at Scrafty with our remaining team, Spitfire fainting, and eventually knocking out Scrafty with Plug's Thunder Punch, ending the battle. Yeah, to be honest, we had way better luck the first time we did this. Oh well, we still won in the end. Now, here's our team stats going into the final battle. I'm hoping I won't have to level grind anymore from this point on, otherwise I'm just gonna re-battle the Elite Four to gain levels. No one wants that, me in particular. Well, better time than ever, let's do this. Champion Iris is up. Plug uses low kick to almost knock out Hydreigon before we are knocked out by a crit Dragon Pulse. Iris heals Hydreigon before taking a Force Palm. Puppy is hit by Dragon Pulse but still manages to use another Force Palm to knock out Hydreigon and level up to 68. Spitfire uses Confuse Ray on Druddigon, causing it to hit itself. Psychic lowers Druddigon even more as it continues to hurt itself. Spitfire then misses Fire Blast. Druddigon snaps out Confusion but also misses Rock Slide. Fire Blast hits but doesn't knock out Druddigon as it misses again with Rock Slide. So the next Psychic knocks it out. Aggron uses Double Edge on Squish before getting O-Code by Surf. Puppy brings Lampress down to under half with Force Palm, but then is hit by a Thunderbolt, getting knocked out. Teardrop takes Ice Beam before using Return on Lapras to knock it out. Her time to shine was short-lived, however, as Haxorus chops her down with X-Scissor. Spitfire is then taken down by Earthquake, leaving Squish to take a Dual Chop and fainting. Not a bad run, all things considered, and at this point, we'd be better off battling the Elite Four over and over again to help us level the team. It would be pure torture to level grind on wild Pokemon. So, it takes hours, literally, just over 12 hours, and a ton of failed attempts through the Elite Four, but we eventually return. Hydreigon is one shot by Low Kick, Aggron is one shot by Surf. Lampress survives the first low kick, getting Surf damage on Plug. Iris full restores Lampress, who takes not one, but 2 Thunder Punches to go down. Haxorus uses Dual Chop on Squish, critting on the second one, nearly knocking out our smiley back boy before hitting back with Ice Beam. Squish then dodges the next Dual Chop and knocks out Haxorus with another Ice Beam. Druddigon gives us a bit of trouble despite being hit by Confuse Ray and knocks out Spitfire. Squish gets a good hit in with Ice Beam before going down to Rock Slide. The confusion was not on our side that time. Case in point as Druddigon, finally I can say it with an accent, snaps out Confusion to one-hit KO Teardrops with Focus Blast. Luckily, Plug arrives to finish off Druddigon with an Ice Punch and levels up to 73. Right on time as Archeops is one shot by Thunder Punch, ending the battle, crowning us the champion. Finally, at long last, we did it. We beat Pokemon White2 with only baby Pokemon. I'm not gonna lie, that was surprisingly difficult to get through, even with a near full team like we had. Though I did learn a lot more about Pokemon than I did before, so there's a plus. Leave your suggestions down below for future challenges to try. Give the video a like if you liked it, subscribe for more, and ring the bell to be notified whenever a new video goes up. For our next challenge, can I beat Pokemon Heart Gold with only gift Pokemon? I know it's a song as old as time, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I'll catch you all in the next video. So, until then you guys, this is SolarPrimal signing out, and bye for now.